Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Sherlock finale video. They did a great job of weaving everything together going back to season 1. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. Because this is the last episode of Sherlock, probably for a long time, I have some notes at the end of this about what's coming next and what the cast and crew have said. So there is a new round of the Sherlock giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. Be sure to click that bell to enable alerts so that you don't miss anything. So there's just like so many things to talk about. So I did this in the top 10 format, although there should be 15. So number 10, that really funny Mycroft Horror introduction. It's almost like he's in a dream sequence, but you get the reveal that Sherlock just staged it so that he becomes so afraid and reveal the truth. Sherlock has a sister. The way they pulled that off was perfect, like Mycroft's murder house as he's watching this old pulp detective thriller. It's funny to watch Mycroft express emotion because supposedly he's not supposed to have any. Like he makes the joke later in the episode where Sherlock's almost forced to kill him, where he says, I might have a little heart, why don't you aim for that? So the cat's out of the bag, Mycroft comes clean. In number 9, is forced to go to Baker Street for help just like any other client. So he has to sit in the chair, jump through all the hoops, so there's all the comedy of that. But then he explains Euros's backstory. She's 1 year older than Sherlock, but 6 years younger than Mycroft. So you get a little more context for her character. The funny thing about this is that Sharonford in the books, the third mythical brother of the Holmes, was supposed to be the smartest of all, like towering above Mycroft himself. So they did that in this episode, but because it's Euros, it's a sister, it's a different name. So she has this titanic genius that dwarfs the other Holmes brothers, but she's been kept secret this whole time because she's such a danger to herself, to everyone else. So number 8, the Sharonford Reveal. Like I said, it's the name of the mythical third Holmes brother that wasn't written by Conan Doyle. It's not really part of the canon. It was just a theoretical thing that was added later to sort of sew up the logic. So they used it as the name for this Alcatraz prison that she's stuck in. I should actually say that the title of the episode is also an Easter egg for the Conan Doyle story, The Adventure of the Final Problem, which was meant to be the last Sherlock Holmes story. He was going to kill the character off, but then fans revolted. He brought him back later. But originally, the final problem was sort of like the Reichenbach fall, where he went out taking down Moriarty. They used that during the Christmas special where he's in his mind palace at the Reichenbach fall. So originally that was meant to be the theoretical death of the character in the books, but in the episode they used it as a sort of Easter egg for Sherlock's obsession with deep water that goes back to Redbeard. So family backstory, number 7, Musgrave. We learn about their ancestral home. If you saw the James Bond movie Skyfall, it's kind of like that. It's just like this really old home that had been in their family for a long time. There are all these fake graves out front that Sherlock was obsessed with that his sister used as the cipher for the East Wind riddle that she kept repeating. So she turned it into a song, but the code for solving it was taken from the graves that Sherlock liked to play around as a child when he was playing pirates with his friends. Number 6, the prison takeover. So there's this big reveal that she's in this Sharonford prison, the most impregnable fortress where you lock up the worst of the worst. They set it up pretty hardcore, so no surprise that the reveal then is that Hannibal Lecter is actually running the prison. So it was a great twist where it's like, oh, we all spent time with her, she all turned us, so we're following her orders. But the bigger one, number 5, is the Moriarty Reveal, where you learn that Mycroft had been using her genius to help stop future potential crimes, but as a result was forced to give her things in exchange. One of them was the violin. The other was 5 uninterrupted minutes with Moriarty 5 years ago. So there was this great introduction sequence where they don't reveal to you that it's in the past. Moriarty gets off the helicopter to Queen just like a total boss, just like it's so great to be back, doing a little dance for the fans. Everyone's going crazy. But then you learn that it's 5 years ago, and he's actually been playing Euros's great game. The great game that Moriarty teased is actually her great game that she set in motion to get Sherlock to help save her. So en route to this, there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs. The case that she forces him to solve, the three Garradeb brothers, is actually named after the adventure of the three Garradebs, which I actually think they used as a Series 3 episode too. But she puts them through this emotional ringer, just sort of like lab rats, just seeing how they'll react, how their morality will adapt to the situation. Like, will you do something that you never thought that you would do? Nice moment from Mycroft that proves that he's not a total psychopath. He actually does have emotions, tries to get Sherlock to kill him so that he won't have to kill Watson. But then she knocks them out, takes them back to their family home, and Sherlock learns the truth, number 4, that there was no Redbeard the dog. It was actually his friend, and that part of the reason why Sherlock doesn't remember his sister is because he rewrote his memories because the trauma of losing his friend was so bad. That was the day that he started to push emotions out and be the Sherlock that you met in the first season. But number 3, as he saves his sister, helps bring her down, so to speak, from her mind palace where she was trapped up in the air, he also learns that he's stronger because of his emotions, and he should welcome that. So he's never going to be as smart as Mycroft or Euros, but he will always beat them because he's a stronger person. So not smarter, but stronger, because he's learned to not push his emotions away. So, his friendship with Watson helped teach him that. So you kind of see that play out over the course of the episode. The Molly Hooper I love you moment also kind of plays into that too. But number 2, you see Sherlock visiting his sister later, just showing you a more hopeful ending, that she's no longer alone. There's this big reveal that she's beyond words, she can't communicate, she's not talking to anyone, but Sherlock can speak to her through music. So even if she isn't literally talking, she's still communicating with them now. You see the family come visit Mycroft, telling his parents, look, she's still alive, so they eventually go visit her. So they imply that she gets well enough so that they can actually have a relationship with her, even if it's still kind of weird and she's locked up for the rest of her life. But number 1 is the message from Mary, just making you wonder, miss you. You're like, oh my God, is this going to be some sort of Moriarty reveal? But it's just another final message from Mary, giving them a big call to action, explaining why what they do as they solve crimes, have these adventures, is so necessary for the people that need them. So she's just telling them that they need to carry on. They do this big montage where there's like a couple more Easter eggs. The Viking on the floor there is actually the musician Paul Weller, who's part like this big band called The Jam. You're a big musician, big rock star, but also happens to be a friend of Martin Freeman. So that's sort of like a celebrity cameo. The Rathbone place is an Easter egg for Basil Rathbone, who played the character in the 1939 film series. But you see Rosie, you see Molly Hooper, so she's not really dead. So it's just sort of like a goodbye and a way for them to show you that they're still having adventures, regardless of whether or not they're going to be more Sherlock episodes. So I know a lot of you are asking, the cast and crew have said that they want to do more Sherlock episodes, but if they do, it's going to be like another 2 years at least before there are more. So if they decide to do more, it is going to be a long time, but we'll probably hear, whether or not it's actually going to happen relatively quickly. The other really funny thing, this is just like a small moment from the first time he met Euros. It's like a lingering question, I think, just to kind of poke the fans a little, like, you can wonder about this, but we're not going to answer it for sure, is when Euros says to Sherlock as he's playing the violin, "You've had sex. I can tell. I've had sex." And for a minute, you just kind of stop and say, wait a minute, who did Sherlock have sex with? It wasn't with Molly Hooper for sure, and I think that they answered that he did not have sex with Janine. So you wonder, it's like, is Irene Adler? I thought that she was mostly into women. Maybe she's bisexual. So just a really funny tease for the fans. But you guys let me know, like, what was your favorite moment from the episode? And which episode was your favorite so far? I definitely think this is one of my favorites, but I feel like Series 3 was a little bit stronger, so I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch these again. But it was a great run this year. Episode 2 and Episode 3 definitely better than the first episode. But if you did spot any other Easter eggs that I didn't mention, there's probably a whole bunch. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll say congratulations to this week's Sherlock giveaway winner, Ankala Bond. You win a $20 Amazon gift card. Just be sure to private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. What's going to happen is because Game of Thrones is still a ways away and there's not a lot of Doctor Who happening, if you're a big Sherlock fan and you're looking for like another series that's kind of in this same vein, I'd recommend Taboo, which is Tom Hardy's new miniseries. That's on FX networks in the United States. I think it's on Sky in the UK, but the other new series that I'm going to be doing videos for is called Legion, which is like an X-Men TV show about the most powerful mutant, but it's kind of like X-Men Breaking Bad. It's going to be carried on Fox's international channels, so whichever channel you watch The Walking Dead on, that's the channel that Legion's going to be on. It's a Thursday show. I'll be doing a trailer video in the next couple of days that'll explain what's going on with that. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for all my Sherlock videos, and you can click here for my latest Game of Thrones video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.